Singaporeans, we constantly strive to achieve a work-life balance, but it seems to be increasingly hard to do so. But for some of us, the pressures of life already start from a young age. Singapore's education system is ranked top in the world, but does this come with a price? Students now face more challenges as the revised syllabus becomes increasingly difficult. Topics that were once only covered in secondary school are now being pushed to the primary level. I'm here at River Valley Primary School to speak with Miss Ashrini.
For math, we can say that firstly, algebra is the one major topic that is added into the syllabus. Another one is circles. The concept of circles we just learned was just area and perimeter, but now they have to learn the understanding of the properties of circles actually, which we learn in secondary school. Even if I'm not wrong, it will probably be in A Math. And they try to tackle the depthness of the subject, and they expect the students to know more in depth of the concepts rather than knowing it on a surface level. So all this, right, it's going to be very content heavy for them, and it's going to put added pressure for them to, oh, I need to know this so that I can perform well in PSLE.
Parents now don't just rely on school teachers to teach their kids. Many of them turn to external help such as tuition teachers to help their kids keep up with the pace.
What is it being tiny? A little bit of
We found out that close to 70% of students receive some form of tuition weekly. But is this really necessary?
因为可能学校里面的人数比较多，所以它的集中力可能没有这样好。所以假如去那个小班的补习，可能它会比较集中一点，老师可以就是照顾到他。学校都没有功课，就是没有功课，所以给他去补习，没有一直在家玩嘛。
The number of tuition centres here in Singapore has grown tremendously since the 1990s. Today, it has become a billion-dollar industry. With over 1,000 students consisting mainly of primary school kids, Madam Ip's tuition centre is one of the prominent ones here.
When we talk about a primary student, I mean they go for English, Math, Science. So average, I will see that a student will come to my centre twice a week. I do have parents, coming in and saying that, okay, I want to enroll for this subjects. Even as a tuition centre owner, I always moderate their expectations, make them understand what exactly they want to get out of this tuition classes. They are stressful because they do not know how and where the resources are to handle exams or to handle tests. I think that's where it is, you see. In the past, schools teach before they test. Now, somehow, parents send children to schools to be tested and to be taught in tuition centres. I think that's where I find our role gets increasingly challenging, because how do you teach a P4 scientific concepts that possibly only in Sec 1 that they can understand?
With school, homework and tuition, an average student spends a minimum of 44 hours studying per week. And this is the same amount of time an adult is allowed to work under the Employment Act. Is this too much for our students to bear? The number of teens and young children attempting suicide has doubled over the past year alone. When overwhelmed with strong negative emotions, children might not be mature enough to deal with these rationally. Definitely, many social and emotional factors come into play when a child is diagnosed with depression. But what actually is a common trigger?
A lot of the stress comes from the fact that they may not be able to handle the type of schoolwork they may have to do. All right, so the teachers will have to support them, have to identify them and give them necessary support. All right, they may face with problems from their peers. All right, So you can see that, imagine that in the same class where there are 30 children, all these different children will have different abilities. All right, some of them can do better, some of them may not be able to do better. Right? So initially they may be quite equal, but as time goes on, maybe by the time they go to primary 3, primary 4, there will be some differential. Then at home, right, there will be parental expectation. The parents would want the child to do better, right? They have to understand the child's ability, where they are. If your parents are expecting too much of the child and beyond the child's ability, not knowing his own child's area of strength and weakness, all right, then there will be a mismatch between the parents' expectation and the child's ability.
Oh, I bang on my head.
Unable to handle the stress from school, Ambrose Tan fell into depression while preparing for his PSLE examinations.
Every single day, every moment, whatever, I feel like dying because of the amount that they actually give. I kind of like have one, and then by the time I can do that one, there's another one, and by the time I can do the other one, I must do the other one. If they were to give a little bit by little bit, I think I will handle it a little better.
And at parents also, I think is we pressurize him to get a very good grades that actually make him even more depressed. Most probably our education is a bit too tough for him to handle.
At some point is to a stage whereby you need to face a reality that if your child cannot make it, you just have to accept the reality. I think it's because Ambrose, my son, has actually had depression. That's when it really hit me. But now, to me, is what I want for him is just happiness.
All parents want the best for their kids, but it seems that sacrifices have to be made to achieve good results. So the real question is, how much are you willing to sacrifice for the paper chase?